name is Philisiwe Gumede. I work at the Oyster Box Hotel and I am the general manager. I was actually appointed in April. I joined the Oyster Box, the Red Carnation family, in April of this year. So I'm now 7 months in. So my journey started in high school. Let me start there, because when I was in high school, we were just fortunate around about in the 90s. And we had this, what you call a career day. So in that career day, I got to see opportunities that have not been tapped on growing up in the Black community, in the location, that there is actually opportunities to travel, to work in different sphere, not just to become a teacher or a nurse or a policeman. Not that it was not so great, so that's how I got to know that, listen, I'm gonna be growing up and traveling. So yes, I completed my matric in 1994. Then 95, I went to study traveling and tourism specialist. Then I quickly realized that, listen, the traveling and tourism, especially if you want to work for crew, you need to be at a certain height, certain weight. So I said, listen, hospitality, then I'm going for hospitality management. So 1997, I joined the hospitality school. So then I did my diploma in hospitality management, which was 3 years. And that's how I got into the industry. And then my first job was in 2000, where I worked for Three Cities Group and opened the Gold Reef City Casino in Johannesburg. And fast forward, I then went later that same year to open the Sentin Convention Center in Johannesburg as the operations floor manager. And the rest is history. So 25 years in. Oh my word, I've had some of the amazing posts. So just to start with the Sentin Convention Center, I happened to be, again, a woman who was spearheading the operations floor, meaning I ran all the events that came through to the Sentin Convention Center, and working in that, managing the floor and doing some of the most amazing events, meeting some of the most iconic industry leaders and people. That was just an introduction to where it got me here today. So fast forward to that, and then in 2003, I decided, let me travel, because I've always wanted to travel. Then I found myself leaving the country, going to work in the United Arab Emirates. So my first job, again, I was in Abu Dhabi, where I became a manager to run, in charge of the front office, in charge of the housekeeping, in charge of everything in rooms division. So I ran a beautiful beach resort in Abu Dhabi, just a little bit outside of Abu Dhabi. And after 2 years, I then moved to Dubai, where I continued with my career. And then in 2009, later, I then came back home, and I joined the South African tourism within the Tourism Grading Council. And that's when I came to be now in charge of the province, the same province, KwaZulu-Natal, and Eastern Cape. And there it was really all about making sure that we are putting stars where they belong. We're making sure that the properties in our accommodation sector is credible and it's graded and it's with the right stars. And we did that through the World Cup. At the time it was the World Cup. And after that, I decided to spread my wings, and that's when I moved back to Johannesburg, and I joined Sun International, and I started being introduced to the casino environment. So I was working for the casinos for a good until 8 years, until I then decided to take a leap of faith and move into hospitals. So I've had a very much interesting journey. So I ran a hospital for 2 years, and in 2022 I was headhunted again back to Piedmont, where I then oversee another casino as a general manager in Limpopo province, and I ran that up until in 2025, where I received a nice little note on LinkedIn that, there's a property looking for GM in Durban, would you be interested? And I'm like, yes, and that's how I ended up here. The Oyster Box is so iconic. So for someone who's been obviously raised around the hospitality industry, I am very much familiar of the Oyster Box. We know the iconic Oyster Box, what it brings to the province, to the city, even to South Africa. It is known, and it's exceptional. It's iconic space. So for me, how I got introduced to Oyster Box, That was back when I was studying in hotel school, because we were part of the Royal Hotel. Back then, it was the Royal Hotel that used to be quite a recognized 5-star with fine dining. So that's why you see some little pieces, the roller door when you come to the oyster box, that's the same roller door that we had at the old Royal Hotel. So we got to know of that whole fine dining, and then fast forward when the Tolman family bought oyster box around 2006. That's when we know this amazing property, how they redone it, and then it was opened up. It was amazing. So yes, so oyster box is something that is so close to our hearts, and we just love the service that it offers, the view that it offers, the history and the heritage of Durban and KwaZulu-Natal that it brings to the community. It is just an iconic space. And to top it off with the lighthouse that we were fortunate to be right next to, it completes the deal for us. Growing up in Umlazi, the dream has always been that you want to grow up and do good, be well off. It was never a huge dream. It was like, you know what, I want to study, get a job, and do well, and live a good, normal life. So that was the dream. And then obviously when you achieve that dream, then you shift your dream for more. So right now my dream has really changed, because the dream that I wanted was to be very much working mom, having everything. Then my dream now is to really leave a legacy behind. And one of my passions is that I would love, with all my heart, to open. I'm very passionate about mental health, for starters, and I would love to see myself having a wellness and rehab clinic or center that I can have as my own in my personal capacity, and learn to just leave that legacy for my family behind. So yeah, that has been it. That's my big dream right now. Making an impact, I would say skills. I wouldn't talk now about skills, because I think I've passed that space of skills with my experience for years. I would say my impact, it's through passion, discipline, and you know, one of the days when I was moving ahead, changing jobs, I had my last board meeting with my previous company, and one of my directors said to me, you know what, Philisiwe, how are we going to find somebody who's passionate, someone who's got this business instinct, who's a mother and is everything? There's no one like that. And for me, that resonated with me, because we are women as leaders. We always try to fit ourselves within the male space. But you know what? It's okay to have that motherly love in that business world, because it works for the space. So I believe the impact that we make, and I make as this female leader, and in a predominantly male dominated space, that's the impact I bring. The confidence, the passion, the motherly love, the business instinct that I have. So that's what I bring on the table. Absolutely, there will be a lot of achievements, but I think the one that sticks out right now in my mind, because we've really been talked about a lot, is for me being that first Black female or African female, that is bad, the first African female to take over the iconic oyster box, and also for the Red Carnation hotel collections. So for me, there is something that tells, you know what, Black child, it's possible. So that is a huge achievement, and I carry it with pride, because I am setting for the future leaders that are coming that are female. But also when you look at it on a bigger scope of things, I know we focus from the Red Carnation and the oyster box as a whole, but if you look at South Africa, when you look at your internationally recognized beach resorts and hotels, you know, when you look at those iconic names as well, when you look around, they are all very much male driven. They are run by male and not ever a female in the 5-star space. You know, you look in Cape Town, you've got your famous high-profile properties that are reaching and bringing those international guests, they are all predominantly on the male space. So I am saying that this is possible for all of us. And then one of my oldest achievements that I always talk about, it's when I got to meet the former UN Ambassador, Mr. Kofi Annan, when we did the World Summit on Sustainable Development at Sandton Convention Center in 2002. I think that time was just one of those iconic periods because there were all the leaders that have come through to South Africa. We were just going through the most, and the change that just came through. And just to meet him and for him to issue me with the Service Excellence Award was an iconic moment as well. So for me, so I've had quite a few also over the years, but I think those always, because that's what sets off to this person that I've become, and now coming through to the oyster box is that other huge achievement I can talk about. Yes, we've all had challenges along the way, and I've touched on some of the few. The challenges that you come into this space, which is predominantly very male-driven, and you are a female in leadership, so that's those challenges have come through and fast, and we experience them. But for me, what always kept me, I think, focused into the goal that I'm looking at and focused to what you're trying to push and staying positive has always made me not to stay away in those challenges. I hope I'm making sense. So my advice that I will give to the younger women is that believe in yourself, stay focused. Even when people tell you that you will not make it, stay true to your cause. Success doesn't happen overnight. It is built through perseverance, authenticity, and self-belief. And most importantly, support and build other women along the way. Oh, I find balance with my family. So I was blessed very late with this bundle of joy. She's 5 years of age, so she keeps me on my toes all the time. But with all honesty, I come from a very big family. I'm the sixth child, and I've got amazing sisters and brothers. Got a lot of nieces and nephews. So coming back to Durban, because I was born and raised here in Durban, and I've been working outside of Durban for such a long time. So coming back home for me has been like a cherry on top, because the support is on another level. And I can now easily, after work, and just go back and just enjoy my family, or decide to take a drive back home in Mlazi, where I see all my siblings and my nieces and grandkids. So I think that balance for me is just working so perfectly this time around, and I'm loving it. It will definitely, this time around, has to be the opportunity that has been given to me by the Red Carnation family, and I would think from my leaders, Mr. Raggett, the CEO of the company, my senior, Mr. Michael Nell, the managing director, for entrusting me on such a huge role, and for really being open to this whole change and transitioning that they are instilling within the Red Carnation family. So I would really like to thank them for that opportunity, and I would definitely be taking on the legacy of the family and the continue on what they are all about, which is taking care of your staff. They will then look after your guest and carry the legacy of the Tallmans as well, in how they take pride in our space, in the industry, and look after our people and provide the excellent service that we provide and create that longevity that they've done over the years throughout all their properties. So for me, that will be just what I would love to share, because I don't get asked that a lot.